Calvin's commentary on Galatians 4, verse 24. I'm going to read most of this. So buckle up. Ready? Let's go. The comparison is now formally introduced. As in the house of Abraham there were two mothers, so are there also in the church of God. Doctrine is the mother of whom we are born, and is twofold, legal and evangelical. The legal mother, whom Hagar resembles, gendereth to bondage. Sarah again represents the second, which gendereth to freedom, though Paul begins higher and makes our first mother Sinai and our second Jerusalem. The two covenants then are the mothers, of whom children unlike one another are born. For the legal covenant makes slaves, and the evangelical covenant makes free men. Not Morgan Freeman. Free men. But all this may at first sight appear absurd, for there are none of God's children who are not born to freedom, and therefore the comparison does not apply. I answer, what Paul says is true in two respects. For the law formerly brought forth its disciples, among whom were included the holy prophets and other believers, to slavery, though not to permanent slavery, but because God placed them there for a time under the law as a schoolmaster. Galatians 3:25. Under the veil of ceremonies and of the whole economy of which they were governed, their freedom was concealed. To the outward eye nothing but slavery appeared. Yet, ye have not, says Paul to the Romans, received the spirit of bondage again to fear. Romans 8:15. Those holy fathers, though inwardly they were free in the sight of God, yet in outward appearance differed nothing from slaves, and thus resembled their mother's condition. But the doctrine of the gospel bestows upon its children perfect freedom as soon as they are born, and brings them up in a liberal manner. Paul does not, I acknowledge, speak of that kind of children, as the context will show. By the children of Sinai, it will afterwards be explained, are meant hypocrites, who are at length expelled from the church of God and deprived of the inheritance. What, then, is the gendering to bondage, which forms the subject of the present dispute? It denotes those who make a wicked abuse of the law by finding in it nothing but what tends to slavery. Not so the pious fathers who lived under the Old Testament, for their slavish birth by the law did not hinder them from having Jerusalem for their mother in spirit. But those who adhere to the bare law and do not acknowledge it to be a schoolmaster to bring them to Christ, Galatians 3:24, but rather make it a hindrance to prevent their coming to him, are the Ishmaelites born to slavery. So basically the two covenants are legal and evangelical, or law and freedom / grace, right? Freedom, law, and grace. The slavery is the law without grace. The freedom is great apart from the works of the law. We cannot be justified by the law, right? We're justified by faith alone. Believe the gospel, right? Trust in Jesus Christ. Now, the contrast, to my understanding, is the same throughout Galatians. I mean, there's those that abuse the law, they abuse it, and they think they're going to obtain justification. And then there's those who are led by the law to Jesus Christ, right? So the children of the slave woman are the hypocrites or apostates, and that's true even today. So that's my understanding, but don't take my word for it. Go read it for yourself, and clean the Bible off your shelf and dig in. All right? God bless.